Greetings, Star Citizens, and welcome to Flight Deck. This is a weekly podcast about Star Citizen and other gamer culture topics. I'm your host, Linkstack MDK, and with me, as always, is Paper Thin.
I have tea.
Okay, he has tea. Today's topics are going to include the 10 for the Chairman, episode 48, Around the Verse, episode 24, and we have a 5 for the Community Manager interview that was done that we'll be linking to in our description below. Uh, we also have the Mustang gift and display and the holiday wreath that should be present in our hangars. What did you think of your gift from CIG paper?
I I like it. The Mustang display thing is pretty cool.
Hmm.
I like having the models. I guess it's kind of. I mean, all the flair I can get in my hangar is totally fine with me. And the wreath I thought was it was pretty nice.
Yeah, I actually you've probably noticed we're doing a different picture for this video, and the wreath should be in the shot in the background. So there you
Yeah.
go. Happy holidays.
Woo.
I have to say, my first reaction when I saw the display case in the Mustang and then the box on the side, I'm like, they took it out of the box. Depreciated in value. Come on.
I know. That's how I feel about sometimes when I like buy like anime figurines and stuff. Which the fact that I'm admitting to that. But anyway, I like don't want to take them out of the box because I'm like, my God, like what if this is worth
What
like
if it
fifty
depreciates in
thousand
value?
dollars?
Yeah,
Yeah,
one day.
but
Well,
yeah.
I told you that my dad had like Superman issue one, Spider-Man issue one, all of these, and then they sold them in a garage sale, right?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, you told me about that. And a related story: when we moved, when I was in high school, my mom threw out my Daredevil #1. It wasn't
Oh,
in mint condition, but oh my
still.
God,
Oh,
I was livid. I was
what
absolutely
did you
livid.
do?
I was so freaking mad.
Oh, I bet. Oh,
Uh,
and I had to give away all my old Ninja Turtle toys and all that stuff, and it's like, oh, I wonder how much those would be worth now.
right?
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into 10 for the Chairman, episode 48. This one actually, I don't know, it's not one of my favorite ones, but I did like a lot of what he talked about in this one for sure. Like the topics were definitely pretty interesting. Not as
Yeah.
interesting as they've been previously, but still pretty cool because it got you excited for what's coming up.
Right.
Um, so what do you think his mysterious side trip that he mentions to Germany is? Because he's like, oh,
Uh,
I made a little side trip to Germany, and it's like, I wonder if they're picking up another studio then, or whatever.
yeah. That's my assumption is that they're picking up another studio. I'm just curious as to what that is. I'm trying to think if it's going to be a studio maybe that'll be more focused on sort of the supplementary roles that you will take in multi-crewed ships. I wonder if they're
Hmm.
looking for somebody to kind of tack on to do those, like the quote unquote, mini games that will be at the comm stations and at the science station and the
Right.
engineering station and all that stuff. That's that's my guess, but I don't know for sure.
I'll be very interested to see what they end up going with, like if it's going to be another studio or maybe something else entirely that, we can't even think of right now. Like maybe it's some sort of swag. Like, oh, we're now having every single Star Citizenship modeled and that's coming to you now or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. It could be something like that. The other thing that I just thought of was that there are a lot of esports businesses that are based in Germany. So he might be looking to sign deals with
Hmm.
maybe some of those. So
That would
we'll
be
see.
cool. Yeah. Well, into other stuff that he directly addressed, there was the non-combat equipment affecting combat. So this was a question largely based around like science vessels and will you be able to use the gear that you have on science vessels to directly affect combat? And it sounded like yeah, they put some thought into that. My whole thing is I don't want it to be like overpowering to have a science vessel on your side though because it's a science vessel. It's not a warship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt too. I felt like this guy was maybe having Carrick's buyer's remorse.
Right.
That he was like expecting it to have more guns or something, and he's like looking for a way to ship to be in combat. It's like, dude, Carrick's a science ship. Like,
Yeah.
you should have guns to protect yourself if you get ambushed by pirates or something for sure.
But you shouldn't be jumping into the middle of a dog fight and
Yeah,
coming out the other side unscathed either.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, it sounds like obviously you want to have defensive capabilities for your ship, but I don't know. I don't see it being a offensive ship ever, really.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong because of the way things are going to be so modular. So
We'll see. You know, maybe you can swap out all that sciencey stuff for a couple of torpedo launchers and stuff like that.
yeah,
That would be weird. You might as well just get a
a
warship
lot
to
of
start
like
with.
yeah, or a
Yeah.
lot of like ECM equipment or something. I don't know. So we'll
Oh
see.
God, I hate ECM. Well, there's also he talked about what happens if you fail to navigate a jump point, which was kind of interesting, but at the same time vague.
Yeah, it wasn't anything that I didn't expect.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like your ship's going to take damage. You could end up in a different spot than you meant to jump to.
Yeah. It,
I
I would hope like sometimes it's like really cool though. If you if you mess it up, you're on the other side of the galaxy all of a sudden. Uh-oh.
right. Like how fun would it to be like you're in like a larger warship, like maybe a destroyer or something, and you accidentally land in the middle of a fight, and you get like sides trying to vie for your side in the fight. They're like, "We'll pay you,
We'll pay you.
10,000 credits, and
Please help.
whatever. Please help our side." That'd be kind of fun.
That makes me think of a Star Wars nerd cred right here. In Alston's book, Aaron Alston, during the Yuzhong Vong War, when the Superstar Destroyer like comes out of hyperspace in the middle of the Yuzhong Vong fleet and just starts like shooting in all directions, killing them.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like whoops. Oh well, fire.
Or like when in Serenity, when they
Oh,
drag the Reaver
yeah,
fleet.
totally. Just shoot
Fire that
something.
thing!
Well, and then going along with that, there's also player-owned factories and player-owned businesses that they were talking about. That sounds kind of cool. I don't know if I'd want to get too deep into that, but it would definitely be worth like cornering the market on some sort of product and making tons of money that way.
Yeah, I mean, well, the question originally kind of came from they were looking to see if you were going to be able to manufacture alien stuff, and Chris
Yeah,
kind of dodged that. So I kind of feel
that's a
like they're
no.
not sure about that, or yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And but yeah, we will be able to have factories. It sounds like, and I'm kind of okay with it as long as it doesn't get too out of control. As long as it doesn't turn into Eve Online like scale, then it's
Oh,
fine.
yeah, where you
It's
you
crazy
join
neat.
in and you're like, what do I even do? And anything. Okay. Oh, that didn't
Yeah,
work out. Yay. That's fun for wasting 3 days.
right.
Uh, and then they've also got the comms officer. They went into a little more depth than that, where your comms officer could be eavesdropping or hacking and listening in and all that stuff too. And you know, every time they mention something like that, I think, yeah, that's cool, but at the same time, I don't want to make gameplay stupid to the point where everybody just uses TeamSpeak then instead. You know,
Well, that's
because
yeah.
if you can use TeamSpeak and not have your conversation hacked on when you use TeamSpeak,
Right. So what my guess is that you're going to be able to hack their comms and listen to their NPC dialogue,
yeah.
and or maybe like you can listen to what they would be saying if they were actually talking, maybe, if that makes sense.
So it's like, oh, I've got your wing. Like, you know, the commands that you do in like a lot of FPSs or flight sims where it's like, oh, follow me, that type of thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Or attack this target
right.
or so my guess is they're going to have to do something like that cuz there's no way everyone and their grandma isn't going to use TeamSpeak
Oh, yeah, for
for this
sure.
game.
Yeah,
It's just not possible, you know.
yeah.
So
Well, and we'll see how it goes. They were talking about, you know, implementing some organization tools with this as well, and that had some stuff you could do only on the website, stuff you could do only in game. I wonder if they're going to have some sort of chat system then that's external to the game, like run through the website or some sort of side along program like TeamSpeak is.
well, yeah, they already have built-in organization chat rooms.
Right.
So yeah, I'm assuming they're going to do something like that. And I'm very, very, very excited about that because it sounds like we're going to start getting that in Arena Commander 1.0. So
Yeah. Well, and like when you mentioned the lobbies, I'm like, yes, lobbies.
yeah.
Thank God, no more of this random letter junk.
Oh my god, I know. It's so painful to play games with your friends right now.
Yes, it's very, very painful. but hopefully 1.0 fixes all that.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Well, and they were also talking about snub fighter deployment on capital ships. They're wondering if it was going to be like Battlestar Galactica style, where you shoot out a tube, or if it's going to be like, Mon Calamari cruiser, where you just lift off and fly out the MagCon field, or how it's going to be. It sounded like it's going to be more Mon Calamari cruiser than Battlestar Galactica, which I'm more of a fan of personally. I've never liked the tube launching system that they have in some sci-fis.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it because on the one hand, like, wouldn't you just want the quickest like deploy system possible? But I don't know.
Well, he said there'd
But
be
on the
like
other hand,
fast
if
launch areas, so
yeah,
your scramble fighters will be in this section and they can get out quick.
yeah, so I guess that makes sense. You have certain like maybe more interceptor type fighters that will be dedicated to that type of ship.
Right.
Because the one thing I thought of was, well, if you have quick launch tubes, they're going to have to be specified to a specific type of fighter because you can't, just make a tube and fit a constellation in it.
I
If you
would
want to
love
use
to
the
see that.
yeah, let's use constellations as torpedoes.
Oh,
Just screw it.
that's
But
like one of my amazing strategies where you just ram them and when in doubt ram them.
but yeah. So the more I thought about it, at first I was kind of like, well, why wouldn't you want quick launch? But then I kind of thought about it some more, and it makes sense that you can't have just that. You need to have some
Yeah.
flexibility.
Well, and I would really like to see a good setup for hangars and like getting out because you totally can tell there's gonna be situations where like everybody's trying to get out at the same time and y'all just hit each other. So hopefully there's some way to control that.
I cannot wait for that personally to
Let
watch
me out!
people fail.
Ah, you rammed me!
The failure videos that are going to come out on YouTube are just going to be hilarious.
Well, and they were talking. This is like going beyond into around verse 24, but the landing system too, where it's. I can't wait to see the failure landing systems. There's going to be montages
Oh
of the
God,
same
yeah.
thing. This is me trying to land for 20 minutes manually. Boom! Damn it!
Yeah, yeah, it's like you and I trying to land in the current landing system right now, and
I,
we're like bouncing off the landing pad. And
I've managed to do it like 6 times out of
there you
like
go.
32 attempts.
I've done it a couple times without blowing up, but I
uh,
usually blow up.
I've got a better ratio than that. I'm sure it's like 6 and 18 or something like that, but it's still
Yeah,
pretty bad.
yeah, yeah.
Well, and then also they were talking about AI interaction in Squadron 42 and the Persistent Universe. So we'll have it won't just be like your standard MMO where they all stand perfectly still. You walk up, there's a chat bubble, you select one of those stupid responses, and there you go. They'll actually have them moving around and doing stuff, and maybe some of them will approach you. So that's more KOTOR-esque than World of Warcraft-esque, for an example.
Right. I thought that was pretty cool, actually. The only concern I have is that like when you're flying and then like one of your NPCs comes up to you and it's
Hey,
like,
buddy!
"Sir, there's a sale on missiles in the fucking Terra
You're
system,"
like,
and you're
shut
like,
up!
"I'm in the middle of a battle."
Hopefully they're smart enough for that. Hey, guy,
I would
I,
assume so.
I, I hear you've installed the muffin button in the rec room.
Muffin button.
It makes blueberry muffins.
The
Go
NPC
away.
just like walks up and starts like smacking in front of you on your console, and you're like, "What are you
What are you
doing?"
doing?
But I
Oh,
imagine there's going to be times where the NPCs do dumb stuff early on just because of,
oh,
there's going to be bugs and
I
stuff, and it's going to be
guarantee it.
hilarious. Just
I,
hilarious.
I've yet to see a game where the AI didn't have some mess up that was hilarious or, game breaking.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's cool that the NPCs are going to interact with you. I like that'll make it feel much more like a living universe, which is a phrase they've been tossing around a lot recently.
Yeah. For sure. Well, and then there's they talked about planetary and asteroid access from hangars with that too. So there'll be areas that you can, leave your hangar on and then maybe they'll have a couple of shops by you, that type of thing. But if you want to like explore a different section of the planet, there might not necessarily be a transportation system in play. You might
Right.
have to go back in your hangar, get on the ship, fly the ship to that area, land, hop out, that type of thing. So,
Yep, totally cool with everything they said here. Makes perfect sense.
well,
Um,
I think
I
for
have
like the
nothing
bigger
against it.
cities like Terra, it makes sense to have a transportation system. But like if you're in Tatooine, you know, I'm not freaking walking for 20 miles. I'm gonna hop on my ship and go to Mos
Yeah,
Eisley.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that sounds like what they're planning on. So
Yep.
I'm
Well,
down.
dropship support roles they talked on a little bit. That's the pilot shows up in his Redeemer and drops off all the Marines. Well, aside from like shooting the Redeemer guns at like defenders, he could also potentially have a support role where he's monitoring everybody. It sounded like he wasn't initially intending that, but like as he was talking about, it, he's like, that's really cool, and we might do that. So
Yeah.
that was interesting.
It was a good question, and I'm glad it kind of spurred some more ideas in Chris's head. I could see the gears
Wheels,
turning.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, and you see smoke come out of his ears, and he's
Yeah.
like, wait, no, that's good, yeah.
Chris is like, I'm gonna go watch Aliens again tonight. Like,
It's sad because I thought the same thing when I'm like, yeah, that would be awesome. I'm gonna watch Aliens 2 again.
such a good movie.
Yeah. Or I'm sorry, Aliens, not Aliens 2.
Yeah. Well,
Aliens.
yeah, it's so confusing because the first one is Alien,
Yeah.
second one's Aliens,
Yep.
and then
That's
and then
why
the
I had to
rest, which
correct
we don't
myself
talk
before I
about.
got hate mail. Well, and then the last thing, which I'm probably more excited about it because I'm a completionist and I like single player campaigns, is there was additional single player content that he wants to come out with after Squadron 42. Um,
Yay!
yeah, that'll be pretty sweet, especially if it's like from an alien perspective, or maybe it's like a Jean campaign or a Vandal campaign, or
Yeah,
something along those lines. So
that would be really cool. And it sounds like some of this is gonna not necessarily take place in the persistent universe, but like you access it in the persistent universe is kind of the vibe I was getting, if that makes sense.
yeah, for sure.
Like there'll be just parts of the persistent universe that are single player only, so you don't have to worry about, getting ganked by pirates or something.
Well, and the thing that they always talked about with the Squadron 42s and all that is there was going to be a co-op element to it as well. So it's not like
Yes.
all of a sudden you have to go, oh, I can't play tonight, guys. I want to play some Squadron 42 missions. It's like, hey, guys, let's all go play some Squadron 42 missions together,
Right.
which is
Exactly.
very smart.
Yeah. I mean, I am so looking forward to playing Squadron 42 co-op. It's going to be just a blast.
I totally am going to die left and right and will not even care.
Yep.
Just because it will be so much fun to be like on somebody's wing going after some Vandal or, whatever.
Right. And then you have like a missile come and just
No!
wipe both of you out. And it's like, no, that was awesome.
No! Rattlers!
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's talk about the Rattler then.
Yeah.
They showed some artwork for it. I like the overall general look, how it's a bigger missile, and then you got the smaller missiles that shoot out from it. It's like those, what are those called? Scatter missiles or something like that?
Uh, so what does Merv stand for? Multiple
Something, something, dark side?
something. No, multiple something something vehicle. I don't know. I don't remember now. I
I,
used to know.
I didn't know there was going to be a quiz. My
Yeah.
dog ate my homework, and oh my god.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But yeah, so they're just a missile that has more missiles in it. So the big missile is just a carrier of the little missiles. The big
right.
missile doesn't actually have a payload in it. It just carries the little missiles that then shoot and spread out. So that way, if like you're going you're firing your missiles at say a destroyer that has a lot of countermeasures on it.
Right.
Well,
At
more of your
least
missiles
something will
are
get through instead of nothing.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thought behind them. Yeah.
All right,
Or if
let's.
they have like a lot of countermeasures, like if you're in a fighter, then
Yeah.
maybe more of your missiles get through the countermeasures. Yeah.
First, yeah. Let's move over to around the verse 24. For this one, there was a lot mentioned. I have a ton of notes. Oh my
Yep.
god, I took too many notes. So one thing they mentioned early on was they're going to have different stuff released with stretch goals, so it's not going to be the ship of the week anymore. Instead, they're going to be talking about different content that comes out, and they kind of showed us with last week's multi-crew elaboration, and this is how multi-crew ship systems work, etc. So,
Right.
on the one hand, I'm sad. On the other hand, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
it, yeah, just get out what you got for now, and then you can keep adding more later.
Exactly. I mean, at this point, they've got so much money. They're just going to do what they want anyway. I feel like so. I
Right.
don't feel like stretch goals are really necessary. I mean, this game is going to be going for years and years, so
Mhm.
stretch goals are kind of you know
It's
superfluous.
after a while, it's like it's pointless to have a stretch goal because you're
Right.
just going to keep adding content anyway.
Exactly. And this is something that they talked about in the five for the community manager that we'll talk about later. So we'll
Right.
just kind of skip over it.
Well, and the Gladiator was released recently, and they're going to have a bug fix patch that's also coming into play with that release before 1.1, or I'm sorry, 1.0 comes out, Arena Commander 1.0. So it sounds like that's going to be the very last patch before Arena Commander comes out. It's going to be patch fix to solve all the bug problems or a lot of the bug problems.
Yeah, I don't think that's come out yet.
I don't think so either. I didn't see anything about it. I haven't logged in a couple
Yeah.
of days because I've been busy with work. So
Yeah, I haven't either, and I didn't remember seeing it on the Star Citizen subreddit, but I haven't been watching it like a hawk like I usually do because I too have been busy with work. So,
yeah, there's been a small patch that came out a little while ago, but I think that was just the community content stuff that we'd mentioned earlier.
oh, okay.
I don't know. Well, and then they also have a HOTUS poll, which details about the Star Citizen specific HOTUS. So, they're asking people what they want, what they think, what they like about it, what kind of control scheme, blah 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 blah. I haven't taken part in the poll because I don't care because I'm just gonna use the joystick I have.
I did because I would eventually like to buy one if they release like a Star Citizen dedicated one.
Right.
And if it's and I'm hoping it's between 150 and $200, which is what was the most popular
Hmm.
uh, monetary option on the poll, and that's what I'd be willing to pay myself.
Well,
So I voted on the poll, and I hope they do go through with it.
you get what you pay for. I mean,
Yeah.
if you get a $50 joystick, it's not going to be as good as $100, and that's not going to be as good as 150. So
Right.
I think that's a
And
smart price.
yeah, and for me, my old Logitech Wingman Pro is it's got some issues. It's pretty old.
It lists
So
lazily to the left.
yeah, it always lists a little to the left because the roll is uh, damaged. So I need a new joystick. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to stop buying ships so you can buy a joystick to fly your ships.
That's true.
There you go. Well, and then the live stream actually on the 19th, so that's going to be 2 days from now from when this video is posted. They're going to have a fly off, talk about various ships available, maybe they'll have a sale, stuff like that. I actually have off of work. I'm on PTO, and that's the start of my long vacation of fun. So I might actually be on Twitch at the time of the live stream commentating for anybody that wants to like watch it with me or make fun of their bad piloting.
I can probably stop by for an hour or two of it,
Yeah.
depending on what's going on at work. If work is busy, I might not be able to, but in theory, I shouldn't be too busy that day. So I could probably stop by for a little bit of it. It starts around 10 Pacific time. Is that right?
I have no idea. I still have to look it up. I'm just off the whole
Yeah.
day, so I know I'll have time
No.
to watch it.
Yeah, there you go. I'm pretty sure it starts noon Central Time, which is our time zone. So I should be able to take lunch and at least come for like an hour or two of it. So
Yeah, whatever works. I'll be saying here, either not commentating or just, making off-color remarks that,
yeah,
entertain me at least. And then we've got the multiple missiles, like the Rattler coming out with Arena Commander 1.0. They also mentioned that there's going to be some new guns and some
yay,
other features, so
yay,
sweet. I,
yeah.
I look forward to getting shot down by everybody else who's way better at this game than I am. Well, and then we also have AI for the countermeasure has been worked on, so there's going to be some better countermeasure systems in place. So hopefully, it makes scoring kills with missiles and stuff like that a lot more difficult,
Yeah,
which would be fun. Because, like, I've played some Vandal Swarm, and it's just like, shoot, kill, shoot, kill, shoot,
yeah.
kill.
There's almost no reason not to just use your missiles every time
Well,
and
especially
Vandal
since they
Storm.
regen every so often on the waves. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
a little too strong. Yeah,
Well, and with those countermeasure systems, they're also talking about a missile selection system within the HUD, so you can have multiple types of missiles, and you got your heat seekers, your sidewinders, your whatever.
right.
It'll be good times,
Radar based instead of heat based. Yeah,
right?
yeah, that'll be good.
Or maybe you're just straight fire,
Right,
rockets.
right. I mean, I can't see those coming into play until we have multi-crewed ships, though. I would never use straight fire rockets in a dogfight.
No, it's the best strategy. It's shoot from the hip and
They'll never
pray.
see it coming.
Yeah. Be like, did he shoot missiles? No, nobody would do. Oh my god. Well, and then landing mechanic we already talked about. There's also the first-person cover system improvements. I know that last time we spoke, you were like, "I want a button," and I couldn't
Yeah.
really argue with it. But it sounds like their QA testers like it more, so hopefully it's
Okay.
much better.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're not going to see it until at least March, so
Yeah.
I'll hold judgment until then.
No, we're gonna see it earlier than March. I've decided.
Or maybe I'm judging anyway.
Aw. Well, then they also have the Astro Armada. It's a ship showroom. They're coming out with some concept art for that. That'll be cool. Like if it's
Yeah.
holographic, or I wonder if it's going to be like literally you're in a showroom and then over here we have a ship, like a car show.
Yeah. I would feel like it's going to be more like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. It's cool, just fun little stuff that they show us. I'm always happy about it.
As long as they don't magically transform into a giant robot, I'll be fine with whatever car show they put on. Well, then they also have the PU transition from the hangar to space to planet side to back to hangar. It sounds like that's being tweaked, so it's going to be more of a in-depth immersive player experience, whatever that means. I'll wait to see what
Right.
they're actually talking about when it comes out. But hopefully it's more like you control it instead of you just enter a mechanic video. Like I would love to actually have to follow a flight path and like go down to the planet and all that, or you can hit your AI, but like maybe all of a sudden you're like being a scheming pirate or something, and you suddenly break from it and start attacking strafing sections, or you know, I don't
Yeah,
think that'll be in there, but
I totally agree with you. I really hope it's not just like cutscenes all the time.
right.
So, but we'll see, I guess. That we don't really know.
I assume it will be, and at least when comes out, cutscenes, and then maybe they'll add content later on for that type
Right.
of thing.
Right.
Well, then we also have AI peaceful tasks. So this is going to be, as Ben Lesnick mentioned, the bartender, instead of just standing there, will be like wiping down the bar or entering something in a keypad or something like that. So I wonder if like there's going to be, the random like cops chasing a criminal and stuff like that, or is it just going to be, whistling and walking type thing then?
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty vague what he talked about, and it was very brief. So I'm not entirely sure. I'm curious.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And the Retaliator interior is also being worked on. They've done so much rework on that it's not really surprising. So we'll probably see even more of that going on in the future. And, with that, they're also saying they're redoing the Aurora again and again. They've just redone the intake. So I wouldn't be surprised if we'll keep seeing changes even to ships that have been out there for a long time.
Right. I mean, I imagine that's just going to be an ongoing thing for quite a while.
Well, yeah, and then also the Mustang ejection seat's been implemented. It's like
Woo!
you think that would be one of the first things they'd work on for a ship, getting out of it safely and not dying. But whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then Ben mentioned that the FPS damage to the limb movement and all that stuff has started, so it's out of the concept phase and into implementation. That's pretty sweet.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Also, apparently plasma ammo has been fixed, so you can no longer shoot through doors. I didn't know that was a thing, but that's
Yeah.
cool. Good
I don't
fix
think
on that.
I don't think anyone knew that was a thing. When he said that, I was kind of like, "What?
What? You can
What are
shoot?
you talking
That's
about?
pretty sweet.
I can't shoot through any doors."
We don't even have doors to shoot through, Ben Lesnick.
Exactly.
Oh well. And then there's also Battlesphere white boxing continued, and that was kind of a we'll talk about the Battlesphere. So when he said that, I'm like in my head thinking of some giant dome room like Ender's Game with like boxes
Yeah.
and stuff and blah blah blah. So
Yeah, it's gonna be cool to see the initial levels for the FPS module. It should be a lot of fun.
yeah, I hope it's like a competitive um, game thing, like paintball or something like that, but like
Yeah,
in the future.
yeah,
So
symmetrical arenas is what I'm hoping for.
that'd be cool. Yeah. And then Bug Smashers, our favorite program. Uh, yeah. I have a red note here that says, "Get the man a teleprompter," which I
So
did
I
not
mean,
write.
like why do we have to show him being awkward? So first of all, let's talk about Bug Smashers.
I,
I'm fine with it in being in around the verse. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to get hate mail.
uh,
Okay, I'm fine with it being in there, but
well,
it's 10 minutes of the 40-minute video.
yeah,
First of all,
yeah.
and like 5 of those minutes are just the poor guy being awkward, like him just
Well,
screwing up his lines. Like, just get the man a piece of paper to hold up or something, or a
you
teleprompter.
could really summarize it better than they do. That's
Yeah,
where I come down on it. They really need to summarize that better than it is, because right now it's very long, drawn out. He is, yeah,
it's so over detailed. Like, he shows you every little step he does, and I'm like,
right.
if I was a developer, maybe this would be interesting,
No,
but I'm
when
not.
as a developer, no. Like, I swear to God, if I was like running a meeting and somebody went through the long drawn out explanation like he did, I would be like, just tell me what was wrong and what you did to fix it. I don't need to know all of this. It's not important. Just, summarize. You're wasting
Yeah,
time, you know.
that's a really good way to look at it. Like, look, I'm watching this video like I'm like a manager, not like a you know another grunt or peon that's actually doing the coding.
Well, and like even when you're another grunt or peon, you have work to do. You're not going to sit there for 10 minutes while somebody explains the ins and outs of everything. It's going to be, "Oh, this is what I did. This is how I fixed it. This is why it happened." Done. You don't need a long drawn out explanation and all this other junk. It's just
Right.
uh
All right, we're done. Move on.
well, and then in awesome news, MVP for the week was Andy's big list of Star Citizen videos and podcasts, and I saw a certain podcast listed on his list. Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm dancing in my chair,
and you're well, no,
Snoop Dogg style.
that's impressive. Yeah. So Flight Deck was listed on there. We're gonna include a link to his giant list because there's a lot of podcasts out there, a lot more than I realized. So, I'll have to go through and check some of them out, see which ones I like, see which ones I want to steal the content from. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna do the same thing. I was gonna start checking them out, seeing if there were some good ones that we could start recommending, and
Right.
maybe start reaching out to some of them and seeing if they want to like be guests on our show. Especially like when you or I can't make the show for a week because we know that we're already gonna have that problem coming up soon.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm sorry. I wanted to go to Florida and be in the sunlight and the sunshine while I was on vacation. I apologize.
whoa, whoa, whoa! What are you
Whoa.
talking about? What's this sunlight thing
I
you've
don't
been
know. I
going?
haven't seen it in months.
I know. Oh my god, it's been so cloudy here.
Yeah.
It's like we live in Seattle, but we
We
don't.
don't.
It's
We don't live in Seattle. Well, and then
uh,
in weird news, apparently writers have smelly hands.
oh my
Star
god.
Citizen.
Like that
That
was
was
one of the
weird.
most
He's like,
awkward things I've
he
ever
even said,
seen.
"This is gonna be weird, but I'm gonna do it anyway." And I'm like,
Go for it.
if you ever like preference something with that, you should just think again before you go through with it.
I mean, like what? I don't I don't even know. Like
That's like,
I have no words.
that's like something I would do if I was super drunk. Like, and
Right.
I never have good thoughts when I'm super drunk. Like, I would not trust myself in an interview if I was that drunk.
It's so creepy, and I mean, I understand the intent.
Oh yeah, like he seemed like a
Good
really
lord.
personable guy. Like he seems
Oh
like the
yeah,
type of guy that, oh yeah, you could have a drink with. But that was weird.
that was yeah. I got nothing. I just laughed and laughed when he did that. I had to pause the video because I was laughing so hard. So maybe that was his goal. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, good on him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then they also mentioned while talking with him some of the churches and religions and how they're going to play a role and like how do they go about designing ships, etc. So, he mentioned a couple of religions like Church of the Journey and the Outsiders and like a little bit about them, but not too in depth.
Right.
I don't know. I'm gonna avoid religion in Star Citizen unless I can exploit it in some way. Uh, you know, that's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, everything they said made perfect sense. You really can't, have like a Buddhist, in-game religion. I mean, obviously, that player
They'll
org can
exist,
create
but
that
yeah.
themselves. Yeah, so yeah, whatever. It's all fine. I don't care. I'm pretty much in the same boat as you. I'm going to avoid it unless I could exploit it. Although I imagine there are going to be some pretty hilarious fa religions that come about, and those are going to be funny to at least have memes that come out of them. So
Like the Church of SpongeBob or something like that, yeah.
right, exactly.
And all hail the holy pineapple under the sea. Yeah, stuff like that. Well, then one of the questions they were talking about was the internal wiki for the writers. I think in a previous like 10 for the writers, they talked about that and like the research that they have to do. But when he mentioned the Galactopedia, well, once that's up, will be a better source, and for everybody, I look forward to that. I want to see what that looks like and how it's going to come into play.
Yeah, as someone who's addicted to wikis for especially for video games and other things already,
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
Well, and how often do you want to look up that one tiny thing and it's like, oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, all oh my god, all the time.
Well, and they had an art sneak peek to combat suits, which actually I think you posted on our Twitter this
Did.
image already. So I was like,
Yeah.
I've seen all those.
Yeah. I
So
went a little Twitter nuts for a couple days and then I got busy and didn't
yeah,
post anything on Twitter.
well, it was
You
still
know.
cool
Yeah.
for sure. Well, and then that's pretty much everything of note and around the verse 24. We can talk about
Yeah.
Bug Smashers for another 20 minutes though if we want.
Yeah, let's complain about Bug Smashers being too long and then talk about it forever in our video. Like
Yep,
just be
that's their
total
goal.
hypocrites. Fuck it.
That's their goal.
Uh,
Well, and then up next, we also wanted to talk about 5 for the community manager, which was not an official video. This was more of a user created video, which we will link to as well.
Yeah, so this is a lady named Nicole D'Angelo. She interviews Ben Lesnick, and she asks him some questions, hence the name 5 for the community manager. This is the 4th episode of it. I just found out about it because of this episode, so go back and watch the other episodes. They're pretty good. They've got some good stuff, but we're just going to focus on this episode. So one of the things they were talking about was player accomplishments in the persistent universe lore. So, like, if you're the first person to discover a planet, then you might get to name the planet. And Chris Roberts has talked about this too.
I don't know if that's going to be always a good thing, though.
Oh God, I know.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some hilarious planet names.
I don't like.
Uh,
They better have some sort of like, no, you can't name it, that system in
yeah.
place.
I mean, I got to imagine they're going to have admins in place that are just going to kind of handle this stuff.
Like maybe it has to go through a review process before it's accepted. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it'll be cool because if you're the first like organization to capture a Bengal, for example, you'll have a place in the persistent lore and
God.
that kind of stuff. And I think that's really cool personally. And this is something that I've always kind of wanted in MMOs instead of just the generic, oh, you completed this task. Well, now you have this title that 10,000 other users have as well. So I think it'll be cool. I don't plan on like actually shooting to accomplish any of these on purpose. I'm just kind of hoping I accidentally do something awesome.
No, you'll get the like random title that you're really not proud of because it just shows how much you've grinded at some stupid thing.
Oh
It's
God.
like be the first to spend 10,000 hours doing this.
Yeah, exactly. You and I are going to be like the first to spend 10,000 hours mining
Oh man,
with a reclaimer.
that I will not be proud of that. I'll get that, but I'll not be proud of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. So cool stuff. So the next thing that they talked about was whether or not backer rewards will be distributable by account. So what people were concerned about was that, okay, I have this backer reward like that laser pistol that you got if you backed early
Pew
enough.
pew.
Will only one of my characters be able to use that pistol, or will multiple characters be able to use the pistol? And basically, Ben said you can transfer the pistol between accounts. So yes, it'll be able to use by multiple accounts. Not at the same time, it didn't sound like, but it's not just limited to one character.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's good. That's kind of what I expected. So another thing they were asked about is what the role of NPC players would be beyond just working for you as a crew. Will they be able to go out and like do other jobs for other people? Will they be able to do other jobs for you. Like you can send them out and like I don't know, gather resources or something. The answers seem to be yes. Um, for sure, you'll be able to hire out your NPC characters to other crew. So that sounds like there's going to be kind of, I would imagine, then varying skill levels
So
with
if I'm
NPC
like,
characters.
yeah, you can have Wash fly your ship for a night,
Right.
and Jane provide security, and Zoe can be your first mate. That type of thing.
Exactly.
Mm,
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly right. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Glad they're thinking about that kind of stuff.
yeah.
The next thing they they were asked about was if the Idris will be in hangars, or if only be able to be docked in space or what. Ben was kind of vague about it. I know in the past I thought they said that Idris was going to be the biggest ship that's in hangars, but they
Yeah,
might change their mind.
that's what they said, but if not, oh well. I know the Reclaimers should be for sure,
Yes.
and that's like what, half the size, a third of the size, something like that.
Yeah, it's something like I think it's a half or a third of the size of an
Right.
Idris. Yeah.
So if not an Idris, then maybe the Reclaimer's the largest size. Who knows? I would like to see an Idris in a hangar, though. I think that would be a really cool shot.
Oh
It's
yeah.
yeah.
I'm hoping those are hangar capable.
Mm,
Um, but they did say that they will be able to scale hangars so they can be bigger once they implement the 64-bit stuff. And that should be ready with Arena Commander 2.0. So, yay.
I don't want my hangar to be so big I have to like spend half a day traversing it, though. Although, do I want my hangar to be so big I have to spend half a day traversing it? Yeah. Now I'm
Right.
torn now that I say it out loud.
Yeah. Now that I think
No, I
about
think
it,
about it.
I
I
could
do
just
want it to be that big. Yeah,
walk around my ship all day.
yeah. I'm fine with this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they also, like I said, they touched on the changes to the stretch goals. We talked about that earlier, so we could skip that. The last thing they briefly touched on was the number of ships you can have in your hangar. So I guess right now it's kind of bugged. You're supposed to be able to have like 3 small ships in each
Hmm.
hangar segment,
Right.
but you can't with certain ships because they're bugged. But supposedly that's fixed,
Well,
and they're going to be adding more ships to hangars and more hangars and that kind of
what is
business.
a small ship? What's considered a small ship? Like, is a freelancer a small ship, or
No,
is it just talking Hornets and
I think
Mustangs
yeah.
and stuff like that?
So I think the Gladiator is supposed to be a small ship, but it was accidentally listed as a medium.
Okay.
And so my assumption is smalls are like fighters and small bombers. Mediums are going to be like Cutlass, Freelancer, Constellation, uh, etc. And
Yeah.
then large will be like probably Reclaimer, 890 jump. Maybe even the Carrack might be a large. I don't know for
Huh.
sure, but it sounds like there's only going to be 3 classes, and they're working on.
Well, then what's Idris considers that a huge ship, or is
I
that
would
a
think so. I mean, that's got to be a whole other category, right?
yeah? Well, and then Bengals are those like super huge. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's all
gets
up
to a
in the
point where
air.
it's like,
Yeah,
whatever.
but so that was everything they had in there. It was a pretty short video. It's only 13 minutes long. Definitely worth a quick watch. Maybe a subscription. It seems like a pretty cool channel. So
Cool.
yeah,
And that will also be linked in the description below, of course. So
yes.
lots of links today for people to check out.
Yay. Links from Link Static. Ha ha
Oh,
ha ha.
you just broke me
Jokes.
on the inside. I'm broken. Well, and then there's also Nuclear Throne, video game that you wanted to talk about. I know you checked it out recently. Have you gotten a chance to play it?
Yeah. I've played it a couple times. Pretty fun little game. It's a top-down shooter similar to Smash TV,
Okay.
or Binding of Isaac, which our friend Dr. Insaniac plays. You run around, you get guns, you get upgrades. It's a roguelike, so randomly generated levels and permadeath if you die. It's a pretty fun little game. If you got $12 or $13 laying around and you like that kind of game, it's definitely worth checking out. I plan on playing some more. Dr. Insaniac and I are gonna play some co-op of it. I'll probably stream it. So if people want to check it out that way, they can on my Twitch channel. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice. Well,
nice.
on my way home on the radio station, they were also mentioning something about The Interview, which is that movie that's about North Korea's. leader and them hiring actors to assassinate him and all that stuff. And that led to Sony being hacked, etc. Just a brief overview in case you live under a rock. Um, so it sounds like that movie has actually been scrapped and pulled. They're no longer going to air it.
Yeah, I'm actually really disappointed about this personally, on a lot of levels. Like, I was looking forward to the movie. It looked like it was going to be pretty funny. B, I think it's bogus to remove a movie because you get some threats, which, quite frankly, they keep calling them Sony hackers. Let's be honest, these are just
North
hackers
Korean
inside of North
hackers,
Korea.
yeah.
Right. There's no way these are like actual
Well,
United States citizens doing this.
here's the thing. Like, if you do this for this movie, what else can they threaten that you then have to take away? That's my
Right.
like it's dumb to cowtail ever because then it just gives them open license to always do this type of thing. You should still put the movie on and let people go and see it with the caveat that there's been threats to it, but here we are, we're still putting it out. See it if you
Right. I
want.
mean,
It's like when
exactly.
it's like when that Aurora shooter for the Batman movie happened. I went out of my way to go and watch Batman that weekend because I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't want it to affect the film. I'm not going to be scared because of douchebags.
Right. I'm right there with you. That was a big reason why I even bothered to see that movie. Like, I wasn't going to see it that soon. I was probably going to wait. But then I was like, you know what? I'm really just so anti people trying to take away, the First Amendment right, to make me scared to exercise it, that I'm gonna
Right,
go and exercise it. And we're Americans, so we call it the First Amendment, but it's freedom of speech, for
right.
non-Americans, and it's a pretty universal thing in first world countries now. And I mean, if you want to exercise that right, then sometimes you gotta take risks. I mean, that's just part of it. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna get too preachy on it. I just think it's dumb to
Yeah.
pull it.
I
That's just
agree.
my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to get too political. I really don't want to talk about politics on this podcast much, but this was
Yeah.
this was one that I thought was pretty ridiculous.
Mm.
So,
Well, and then on a lighter note, you just talk about it. I'm not even gonna say anything. I
so
know
I
you're
mentioned it
dying.
last week. Yeah, I mentioned it last week. I ordered the Cowboy Bebop special edition from Funimation, and it had just shipped. I had pre-ordered it a while ago. This is a Blu-ray DVD combo package. It's the first time the series has come out on Blu-ray in the United States. It had come out in Blu-ray in the UK and Japan previously. But so first United States release, I got it. Actually, I just got it today. I thought it was going to come in sooner, but so I've had a brief chance to look at it. It came in like a package that was kind of like the old vinyl packages, those kind of large rectangle or square things. And the discs themselves look like vinyl discs, just like they did actually in the original, kind of a throwback to the original DVD release, what was that, 13, 14 years ago. Um, it's really nice. It has some artwork in it. It has some special features that have never been seen before, like some new interviews with the people who did the American dub. It has interviews with the Japanese crew and cast and stuff, and so it's really nice. It's still in 4:3 aspect ratio, which kind of blows, but there's nothing they can do about that. That's the way it was. That's the way it was released. So they can't just like stretch it to fit 16 by
It would
9.
look weird, yeah.
It would look really weird. Yeah. So if you want to watch Cowboy Bebop at 16 by 9, just get the movie. That's at 16 by 9. But
Look, I'm gonna play How Well Do I Know Paper Thin right now. I am about 100 miles away from him as we record this, but I guarantee you that those movies are probably within reaching distance, and he's probably touched them or looked at them several times while we've been recording this.
no comment.
Emphasis on touch them, like really creepily touch them,
Yes.
like,
And then I smelled them.
oh well. Oh man. No comment.
Yeah, yeah. So overall, it's a nice little thing. It already sold out, so you can't get the special edition. But Cowboy Bebop Blu-rays are for sale on Funimation and Amazon now. They're just the standard release. So if you're a big fan of the series like me, check it out.
Nerd.
Nerd.
Nerd. All right. Okay then. Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Flight Deck. We will catch you
Nerd.
guys next week, and then after that, we will have to do something special because I will be on vacation. So, see you guys soon.
Later.